So what we do with them is we look at their CUNY files, we find out how they were served in the past. Hopefully they have an old IEP or an ILP if they were international students, and we can use some of that information to make sure that they get the services they need. If, however, a student has not been identified for learning support, then teachers have to go through a referral process. And before we talk about that, there's basically 3 levels of learning support. So in the international setting, it's different than we use different language than we do back in the United States. So in international, basically there's 3 categories. There's mild, moderate, and intensive services. A student with mild support is typically what you would see in the States would be like a student with learning disabilities. Someone that's just fallen behind in a specific area. Maybe they need some help in literacy or in math. And so they don't necessarily have to have a label, but they need those services. That's where our mild students are. A moderate student is someone that has more intensive needs. Typically in the States, that would be someone that is identified. That might be someone that's an EMD student, for example, which is actually mentally disabled, or ED, which is emotionally disturbed, or someone with Downs, maybe, or even someone with autism that's high-functioning autism. So the categories are very different, but moderate, someone that has moderate needs is someone that we're going to see more with. You can modify the curriculum, so that's where it's different. You're mild, you're not going to modify the curriculum. The students have to meet the same standards, grade level expectations. Moderate, we can modify the curriculum based on their actual levels. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then our intensive students are students that definitely have been diagnosed. Well, let me back up. At AISJ, they should be students that have been diagnosed. So if they have not been referred outside of the school for a neuropsych, then we do recommend to the parents that they get a psychological test done for these students. This is a student that's going to be at least two standard deviations below the norm in most areas. These are kids that are, more severe. So you're going to have kids that are have autism that have more severe needs or more intensive needs. Even a student with dyslexia that has intensive issues with dyslexia. So based on their needs, based on the level of support that they're going to need, that's where you would put them into intensive. And then you're going to look at, so basically, when a teacher makes a referral, typically that referral, hopefully, is only for a student that needs mild learning support services. This is a kid that's been probably mainstreamed, and all of a sudden the teacher says, hey, there's a red flag here. I don't think things are right. They've tried some RTI in the classroom. They've tried interventions in the classroom. These haven't worked, and so they go through the referral process. We just this year developed a new referral process. It was a little bit more loosey-goosey in the past, and teachers could just kind of say, hey, I've got this student, this is what I've tried with them. We did have a form that they filled out, but now we actually have a referral process where they have to refer the student, they have to show us what interventions they've tried. They have to try them for a certain number of weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, before they can make the referral to learning support. Once they have been able to identify that they've tried these interventions, then they can make the referral. On that referral, they have to include data. The data includes any of the testing that we require by the school. So you've got the MAP test. Maybe they have had some STAR testing because they are in a math class that's doing STAR, or in a reading class that's doing STAR. So they might have some data from STAR. They're going to have their own classroom data, any curriculum-based testing that they've done with them, any anecdotal records that they might have on the student, any interventions that they've tried and what has happened with those interventions. So they collect all of that data, they put it on the referral form, and then and then that referral form is also opened up to all the specialists in the school.